Hi there everyone and welcome to Classic Reviews. In today's episode we will be looking at a greatest hits CD by the rock band UFO. This CD is simply titled The Best of UFO. It's part of EMI's Gold Collection series and it was released way back in the year I was born, 1996. Before I talk about track by track, let's talk a bit more about the band. The band formed in the late 60s and were successful in the mid to late 70s. Despite not being as big as bands like Led Zeppelin, they are regarded as one of the most influential bands of all time, being an influence on bands like Iron Maiden, Def Leppard, Metallica, Saxon and Stryper, to name a few. Original AC/DC singer Bon Scott was hanging around a lot with members of UFO shortly before he died. The bass player of UFO, which is, well, there's two pictures of him on this front cover actually. So them two people there. I know you can't see it very well, but anyway. The bass player of UFO, Pete Way, went on to become successful in his own right. Like he worked with Ozzy Osbourne in the early 80s. He formed the band Wasted, and also he formed the band Fastway with Motorhead guitarist Fast Eddie Clarke in the 80s. And it was Fastway that done the soundtrack for the film Trick or Treat. The lead singer of the band is Phil Mogg. He's been like the main constant member of the band throughout the years while various people have come and gone. But I think the most iconic or influential member of UFO has got to be this guy here, which is lead guitarist Michael Schenker. Michael Schenker has to be one of the most influential guitarists of all time, and that is mainly because of his time in UFO. So the track list on this greatest hit CD ranges from the Phenomenon album that came out in 1974 till the Misdemeanor album that came out in 1985-86. And it's not in chronological order. So the first song on this CD, we start off with the band's most well-known song, which is called Doctor Doctor. This great energy song has to be one of the best classic rock songs of all time. Both the 1974 original studio version from the Phenomenon album and the live version from Strangers in the Night live album are great. Unfortunately, on this greatest hit CD, the version of Doctor Doctor you hear on here is a single edit that's not even 3 minutes long. The original song is over 4 minutes, and I wish it was that original version or the Strangers of the Night version that was on this CD. Also, it's the live version of this song you hear play at Iron Maiden concerts just before the band goes on. Track 2 is the opening song from the Obsession album that came out in June 1978, and it's the song called Only You Can Rock Me. Not a lot I can think of to say about the song really, apart from the fact it's a rather simple song that's also quite a fun sounding song that can easily appeal to a bigger or more radio friendly audience. The third song on this CD is another album opener, and it's the song called Let It Roll, which opens the Fawcett album, which came out in July 1975. The song starts off on the aggressive side, and it does, funnily enough, have a new wave of British heavy metal feel to it. And it is those NWO BHM bands that cite UFO as an influence. Anyway, the song starts off on the more aggressive side, and then there is some cool slower rhythm changes that leads to some amazing guitar soloing from Michael Schenker, and then it goes back to the more aggressive sound. The fourth song on this CD that follows Let It Roll is the song Shoot Shoot. Like on this greatest hit CD, Shoot Shoot comes after the song Let It Roll on the Fawcett album, and the version you hear on this greatest hit CD must be from the iconic Strangers of the Night live album, in which this song is the last and closing song. Anyway, like the song Let It Roll, Shoot Shoot is a pacey rock affair, but I'd say this song is more soulful, and bass player Pete Way named his autobiography after some lines in the post-chorus of this song, when he released his autobiography in 2017. For the fifth song on this CD, we fast forward to the Mechanics album that came out in February 1982 for the song Let It Rain. This is a lighter pop rock number with a 60s influence that is actually quite well written. Let It Rain is the only song on this CD that's from the Mechanics album. And in regards to the Mechanics album, I'll just say that there were issues in the band. In the band at the time of that album, and bassist Pete Way actually left the band after the tour of that Mechanics album. Despite all them issues, the band was still able to write some great songs, with Let It Rain definitely being one of them. The sixth song on this CD is called When It's Time to Rock. This song is the only song of this CD that's from the Making Contact album that came out in January 1983. And it was after touring for that Making Contact album that the band split up. Anyway, the song itself starts off with a keyboard intro and then it turns into a faster paced Judas Priest-esque rock song. The seventh song on this CD is the UFO classic Rock Bottom. Like their main song Doctor Doctor, this song is off the Phenomenon album that came out in May 1974. So I think the lyrics for the song Rock Bottom are about someone losing it all in a game of blackjack and hitting rock bottom. For those who don't know what blackjack is, the song is about someone hitting rock bottom after losing everything due to gambling. Of course, one of the big things that makes this song great is the guitar solo. Michael Schenker was only about 18, 19 years old when he recorded this song, and this absolutely brilliant guitar solo has to be some of his best work. And it's guitar solos like on Rock Bottom that made him the legendary and influential guitarist he is today. Also, the last thing I'll say about this song is that it's one of the longest songs on this CD. Track number 8 on this CD is easily one of the best songs on this CD, and it's the ballad song called Love to Love. This song is the closing song on the Lights Out album that came out in May 1977. And it is the only song on this CD that's from the Lights Out album, actually. It is the longest song of this CD, being just under 7 minutes long, and it's actually an edit version, as the original is about 40 seconds longer, making it just over 7.5 minutes long. One thing I'll say about this song is that it's meant to be Iron Maiden bassist Steve Harris's favourite song. Love to Love is an epic rock ballad that starts off with a keyboard intro that's played by the band's then new keyboard player and rhythm guitarist Paul Raymond. And then a slow chugging guitar riff kicks in. The song does feature both beautiful string arrangements and guitar solo. And I think the song's intro started off as a solo that Michael Schenker wrote, and then the band built the song around it. Track number 9 is called High Flyer. This song is a folky acoustic ballad that's off the Fawcett album, and even though it's a lighter acoustic song, it does feature a superb guitar solo played by Michael Schenker. Track 10 is called Can You Roll Her? This hard rocker is the only song on this greatest hit CD that we hear off the No Heavy Petting album that came out in May 1976, and it's one of the shortest songs on this CD, being just under 3 minutes long. The No Heavy Petting album was the first UFO album that featured a keyboard player, and that keyboard player was Danny Peyronel. I think I pronounced that properly. Anyway, that keyboard player was Gary Peyronel, who only stayed in the band for that one album, before being replaced by Paul Raymond. Anyway, the song Can You Roll Her is considered an underrated UFO classic. Track number 11 on this CD is called Pack It Up and Go. This is off the Obsession album, and this Led Zeppelin-esque song features both great drumming and guitar playing, both of which makes it a great stomping rock song. Staying on the Obsession album for the 12th track, and it's another amped up stomping rocker called Hot and Ready. Like the previous song I spoke about, it features some great guitar playing, but also as well you can really hear the prominent bass line throughout the song. Track number 13 is the song called This Time. This song is the latest song on this Greatest Hits album, coming from the Misdemeanor album that came out in late 85, early 86. And it is a very synth heavy song, and synths were the thing in the mid 80s. The guitarist on this song and the Misdemeanor album is Japanese born American shredder type guitarist called Atomic Tommy M. This song is quite a catchy song despite it not being a typical UFO song. And with the Misdemeanor album having more synth-driven songs and the new band members, a lot of people consider it more of a Phil Mogg solo album. The third to last song on this CD is called Long Gone, and it's off the Wild, the Willing and the Innocent album, which was released in January 1981. This is a well orchestrated and aggressive song with a Bruce Springsteen feel to it. And it is considered one of the best UFO songs in the Pete Chapman era. The second to last song on this Greatest Hits CD is called Youngblood. This is the only song we hear that's from the No Place to Run album that came out in January 1980. And that album was the first album to feature Paul Chapman on lead guitar, as he had to replace the legendary Michael Schenker. Anyway, the song Youngblood is a decent and catchy lighter rock song, I'd say. The last song on this CD is called Lonely Heart. This song is off the Wild, the Willing and the Innocent album. And like the song Long Gone, which is off the same album, it does have that Bruce Springsteen feel to it. And it does feature some decent saxophone playing actually. And the saxophone was played by the band's then new keyboard player, Neil Carter. So, overall, this is a good greatest hit CD to have. UFO are a highly influential band, and this CD does sort of cover all eras of the band, which means you get to hear a range of songs, like some songs are more guitar based, while other songs are more keyboard based. And there is also a mixture of the well known songs and the lesser known UFO songs. Like I said, this is a very good greatest hit This is a very good greatest hit CD. But I do wish they had the longer and original versions of the songs Doctor Doctor and Love to Love rather than the single edits. And they probably could have fitted one or two more of the classic Schenker era songs on this CD. I suppose with one example being the title track from the Lights Out album. Anyway, that's it for this latest CD review. Please like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, leave a nice little comment below, and please check out my other CD reviews and playlists I created. Cheers.